Welcome to this podcast channel, Center of Excellence Pharma 4. Today's episode is Digital Supply Chain Transformation, a C-level guide to Pharma 4 implementation. My name is Jayan Joshi. I am having more than 45 years of industry experience with a passion for adoption of emerging technologies to achieve business excellence, mainly in pharma and regulatory industry. We already have a YouTube channel for more than 2 years, Center of Excellence Pharma 4, which has got more than 225 videos. We have also launched a course, Smart Manufacturing in Pharma, on Udemy platform. Recently, we have launched a podcast channel, Center of Excellence Pharma 4. I request all of you to please visit these channels, subscribe them, share your comments, and share with your network. So let's look at it today's episode, Digital Supply Chain Transformation, a C-level guide to Pharma 4 implementation, which we are going to cover various critical themes and insights related to integration of digital technologies into pharma digital supply chain management. The key themes are, first and most important is understanding what is Pharma 4. See, definition of Pharma 4 is the application to the Industry 4 principles to supply chain into pharmaceutical segment, which is going to cover end-to-end integrated operations from the digital angle. And this covers various emerging technologies like cloud, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, big data, robotics, blockchain, and many more. Second point is what is the importance of digital supply chain into Pharma 4? As we go on discussing various technologies, and we wanted to see how they can contribute into improvements into supply chain, because supply chain is becoming very much complex and which is really driving the productivity, profitability, and finally the benefits to the customers or the patients is very important. And digital supply chain is integrating based on to Pharma 4 technologies is the thing which is really leading, supporting with the regulatory requirement. Now you have to assess what is the digital maturity at a present level. So when you are evaluating the current digital maturity, the foundation step is successful implementation framework needs to be drawn, which has been designed by World Economic Forums, and then the digital maturity model has been referred. So creating that from the digital transformation point of view, that roadmap is the most important thing, where various stakeholders, their engagement, their resource allocation, and the flexibility to adapt to this present technology challenges is most important thing. The next factor is that it should also take into consideration the best business practices while doing this implementation. This requires a strong leadership support, a clear vision, the roadmap, what we want to do, what we want to achieve it, what results are expected, how we are going to train up the workforce, and how a phased implementation approach can be taken up to effectively implement this particular thing, keeping in mind the cybersecurity measures also. The next is artificial intelligence and machine learning. Artificial intelligence plays a very important role basically to support supply chain management, because the huge data is going to get it compiled, and that requires the integration from the demand forecasting, that is demand planning, to supply planning, and keeping a track about inventory management, which is taking a lot of resources, like mainly the funds, and ensure the quality control. Now, since we are looking at it for the pharma, for what are the different challenges which we have to really come up? The most important thing is it's a human behavior. So there is a resistance to change, and this requires investments to train up the people, integration with the legacy systems, and ensuring that regulatory compliances documentation is built up and is supported and all. The next one is the real world examples. We have to also see the case studies about various other pharma companies who have implemented, and what are the success rate they got it, what are the challenges they face, what are the tangible, intangible benefits have been achieved, and finally, what are the best practices they have implemented. We have to also keep track about the future trends. As the industry is becoming more competitive, regulatory requirements are increasing, the businesses are becoming more complex and they are becoming at a global level. So, all those things are also to be considered. So, the conclusion is that this emphasis on the successful implementations of the Pharma 4 requires a holistic approach. And as a holistic, it's a people, processes, and technology driven, and which integrates the organizational cultures and the processes. And by focusing the strategic planning, continuous improvement thought process, and then the stakeholders collaboration, then the pharmaceutical companies can effectively transform from present analog systems to the digital systems. So, what are the key challenges in implementation? Let's focus more on to that. The first and most important thing is this requires a significant investment actually. Implementation of advanced technologies require substantial financial resources, because you require a infrastructure, you require a hardware, you require a software, you require a training, and all these various things requires a huge amount of money, the funds, and then the time and efforts which are required. And in the present competitive industries, with a limited budget, this is an important task. Second is the regulatory compliances. Ensuring compliance with the stringent regulatory standards is a more important challenge. And integrating this into the new technologies, where the technologies can generate the data and generate the report format which are required from the regulatory point of view. And that requires a most important challenge. Complex regulatory requirement, data integrity, product quality, the safety, these are the various issues which needs to be supported. The third factor is data privacy and security. The increasing use of data analytics and artificial intelligence generates vast amount of very sensitive data. It may be about material, product, specifications, manufacturing processes, customers, results, and all that. And this has got a raising concern about the data privacy and security. And protecting this data while all everything is in process is a important challenge. Integration of legacy system. Many pharmaceutical companies still rely on outdated legacy system. No, they are all old, silo based, and manual documentations and all, and it's very difficult to integrate them with a new modern digital technologies and all. So that particular process is a very challenging. Requires a very careful planning and executions and all. The fifth factor is talent acquisition and retention. Pharma 4 industry requires a skilled manpower who are talented, who understand the data analytics, who understand the artificial intelligence, who have a familiarity with the machine learning, where it can be used, and attracting these skills and retaining them and developing a data-driven decision-making skills, which is a very significant challenge actually. The sixth factor is cultural resistance to change. As we are transitioning from the old legacy system to Pharma 4 requires a cultural shift actually. We have to change our habits, we have to change our reporting system, we have to change the way we capture the data, the way we analyze the data. Everything needs to be there. So this many a times has a resistance from the present employees and all because they are familiar with the traditional process. So that needs to be taken into consideration. The next key factor is intelligent intellectual property protection. See, many times particular pharma company they have formulas and everything needs to be protected and all. Their standards needs to be protected, and this in a digital technology is getting much more exposed to the other stakeholders or maybe other people who are into the organizations and all. So protecting that is also a challenge. Of course, this can be definitely taken care by the various cybersecurity measures and all, but you have to keep this in mind actually. Then comes the complexity of implementation. As the business processes are becoming more complex and then there are more stakeholders are involved, as we discussed from demand planning to in distribution, logistic point of view, to the suppliers, to the contract manufacturers, outsourcing. This is becoming more complex and then that requires so much more coordination among the various departments and with data transition and moving to the pharma form. And finally, everything needs to be justified from the investment point of view. So we have to also see what will be the return on the investment out to this actually. There are some tangible benefit, there are some intangible benefit, there are some direct investments which are taken care. There is sometimes the investment which is going to into the time considerations and all that. So everything needs to be established and then calculate the ROI. So addressing these challenges requires a strategic approach, involves investment into the various factors which I discussed earlier. And then it needs to be have a engagement with the regulatory bodies or auditors. And then that culture of innovation needs to be built up into the whole organization. So what are the strategies which can be drawn or which can really help to integrate from the legacy system to the new Pharma 4 technologies? We have to conduct a comprehensive assessment when we are looking at it, the current practices, existing legacy system. They have their own strengths and weaknesses and all that. And then integrating this into the new digital emerging technologies is that plan is to be drawn. So identify the critical processes which are more important, which directly can show the tangible, intangible benefits. And then we have to prioritize, which factors we will take into consideration and all that. Then we have to develop a clear integration strategy. Actually, create a roadmap, where you will see that, where with a minimum investment you can see or you can identify the tangible benefits which will develop a confidence among the team, among the stakeholders, and then that can create a positive environment, positive approach, motivate the people, and then that can set the clear objectives to move further and all that. The third thing, strategy which we'll have to take into consideration is developing a middleware solution. We have to have that implemented middleware where which can really bridge up the gap between the legacy system and new digital technologies and all that, wherein that data exchange can really take place without much of a shifting from into a new solution. This can bridge up a gap, and then that can really start working and show the results and build up that. So those APIs, what we can call it is the application programming interfaces needs to be developed for data sharing, and that can really enable legacy systems to interact with the new digital systems and all. The fourth factor is adopt a modular approach. Instead of taking up a complete project as it is, the upgrade of the legacy system can be done into the phases actually. Rather doing everything at once and trying to manage the changes, we can take up a small case studies or processes and then go on building up, which we can maybe call it as a pilot project to shifting to the new technologies. Instead of going to the full scale implementation, this will lead to into that actually. Another emerging technology which is really playing a crucial role or a contributing role is the cloud technologies. Cloud adoption is very easy, and this really reduces the infrastructure cost, and cloud integration can really benefit it. So cloud based platforms can really be very useful, and then cloud itself has got many digital tools, and then they can help you in scaling up your data, flexibility in managing the data migration from old legacy system to the cloud environment. Everything that can be taken care, and that plays a very important role during this transformation to the new emerging technologies and digital transformation. Another factor which we must think about it is focusing on to data governance. We had to also develop our data standards, establish them, and while moving the data from the old legacy system to the new system, that those policies needs to be worked it out. Data formats has to be worked it out, and data quality has to be also seen. Data and quality requires regular audits and all to prevent those other issues which may be uh, coming up during those integrations and all, which have to be taken into consideration and all. This also takes the training and change management. As I mentioned earlier, also that employee training is really required to move to this new technology. This not only the data, it's not only the technologies, but it's many times the business processes are also to be fine tuned to the new requirements and all that. And that change has to be managed very effectively. You have to really, again, as I mentioned earlier, into the pilot project, we have to see and how those employees are accepting this changeover and to the new system and all. And then that needs to be monitored continuously. Once we take up one product, one batch, and then move to the new another product, another process, maybe from tableting or maybe going to the ointment, maybe going to. So these are the things which we have to really go on seeing it, take up the feedback when we are shifting into that. And then that user's feedback is also to be considered and integrated to move to the next product, next phase and all that. Collaboration and technology partners are to be developed. When we say collaboration is with your own stakeholders who are helping you in demand planning, supply planning, outsource of manufacturing planning. But at the same time, there are technology partners, as I mentioned earlier about the cloud. Cloud is a technology partner. Then you may have another development partner. You may have a shifting partners. You may have a partners who are designing your system, who may be helping you training to the employees. So there are various technologies partners. There may be audit partners also who are helping you for the regulatory requirements for the Pharma 4. So integrating all those technology partners is a big challenge, and then that can really help you. So employing these strategies, pharma companies can effectively bridge up that gap which is existing into present legacy system and new advanced technology system, and that will really work out and show give you the benefits and all. So when you're doing all these things, what are the tangible, intangible benefits we can think about it? So let's look at those also. So how this will help in improving decision making and all. So there are cost savings which are tangible benefit. When we look at it, the entire say order to delivery process or digital supply chain management process. The operation costs are getting automated due to this uh, uh, technologies and all. That minimizes the manual error, optimizes the resource allocations and all. And then companies will have a lower inventory carrying cost and all, and that will help them to support the market condition much faster. And that will improve the demand forecasting, all those things and also. So data driven decision making is really helping, and then that can be it. This will vary from company to company, product to product and all. So another tangible benefit is the increased efficiency, the productivity and machine utilizations, manpower efficiencies, all those things will be improved as there will be reduced bottlenecks because the processes are more seamlessly flowing because of the seamless data integration is there. So these data-driven things can prompt you to take a necessary corrective actions and all. And it may go up even up to 40% also if the streamlined operations are being implemented and all. As I mentioned earlier, this improved decision making. No, the decisions could be into the production planning, could be material planning, could be quality planning, could be distribution planning, could be transportation. All those things. Once the data is seamlessly available, you can go on improving this decision making and all. That also helps in a better quality control also, no? With data, what products, what materials are to be tested and everything. So allocation of the resources, allocations of the laboratory instruments, everything is available, everything is planned and all that. And that will also enhance the quality control standards and uh, being quality checks throughout the manufacturing process. It can even reduce the recalls and any quality deviations that are. The sixth benefit is better inventory management. As the data-driven decision making is in process, you know at every stage, when they see order to delivery of a particular client or a patient's order or a distributor's order, is the data is available. And then since it is connected with your sales and operation planning and material requirement planning, you know what are the inventory levels which needs to be maintained, which are already orders in pipeline, expected orders. Maybe if there are any delayed orders are there, you can necessarily take uh, shifting of to another product, another batch. So once you have that all the data is you can improve, you have a better inventory visibility, and that can really help in your decision making. Supply chain resilience. Enhanced visibility really allows you to quicker response for your disruptions, improving overall resilience against the market fluctuations and all that. That's another way. There are some intangible benefits are also there. It helps you in enhanced collaboration. So the better details transformation gets shared with all the stakeholders, better communication. Collaboration is really improved. As I mentioned earlier also, it helps from distributors, manufacturers, suppliers, contract manufacturers and all. And then you have a cohesive supply chain management system and all. Increase agility. You have more flexibility in responding to the market changes, customer demands due to improved data accessibility and real-time data, which leads to a customer satisfaction. No? Uh, finally, the patient or a customer gets your product information, the data is available, when the product is likely to reach to the market, reach to the depot, reach to chemists, reach to the patients, and everything is available. So that transparency of the data gives you a better satisfaction with the customers and patients and all. Innovation culture is basically built up when you already have the data, you know what are the variation, you know what are the challenges of data. You can necessarily plan it out and take the necessary precaution and think about how it can be improved further. No? Once you have the data, you can identify the lacunas or you can identify the weaknesses into the system and then try to see how it can be improved. This also gives you a competitive advantage. When your market, you have other competitors, and if you want to see, it's a basically cost. It basically the quality, basically the time the delivery. These are the certain factors which are there, and you can judge along with your other competitors and see how with this particular technology you get a edge over them and all that. So data-driven culture also gets built up. The advanced analytics will help them. You have a data analysis, you have a predictive, you have prescriptive data, which you can go on building it up and all, and that really will lead to this. So, leveraging this very tangible, intangible benefits, companies can really look at it and feel, how it can really get implemented from the old legacy systems to the digital supply chain, which will support the Pharma 4 thing also. So that is what is the thought process which I wanted to discuss with you during this particular podcast episode. I hope you have got better ideas and all. More information, as I mentioned earlier, also at the beginning of the topic. We have much more information about on all these points onto our YouTube channel. There you will find more than 225 videos. We also have launched a more detailed course onto smart manufacturing in pharma on Udemy platform and this particular channel. So our passion is basically make people aware about what is really happening in technology field, digital transformation, and how we can all move towards the pharma 4. So do subscribe our channel, do write down our your comment. If you feel that there are some few more challenges which we can discuss for you, do share and do suggest them also. And we can look forward to work with you and help you in your business goals. Thank you. Bye.